down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Would you like to know how he does that? Yeah. Steve, it's all yours.
All right. Well, welcome to the party. I want to let you know, I was just like you a couple of years ago. My friend Brad said, you need to come to Ohio RIA. And it really impacted my life. And it's just humbling to be up here in front of you. And my goal is like 99% content, okay? So get ready, get your pen out. Do you have a pen? You're going to take notes. I do talk fast. I may offend you, not purposely. I don't speak well. This is not my normal gig, but I'm a hustler. So that's my wife. We just took photos. I was all juicy. I was like, man, I got to bring this up here. I do coach people. I do write educational material. I do a podcast almost every day. And you should write this down. It's called the SavvyRadioShow.com. You can get it on iPhone, Android, Savvy Radio Show. And I bought courses last year. Is Brittany in here? I bought her course last year. I buy courses. I'm just like you. I'm no different. So I just want to be clear that I'm up here, and this is the first time I've tucked my shirt in, but I'm just like you, okay? If your dream is to be an author or a speaker, it's not glamorous. It's not what you think it is. But if you really want to do that dream, you should pursue that dream. That was my dream. This is my highlight, and I'm out. I had a real simple dream as a child. I wanted to live in a house. That was it. I grew up in New Jersey with a single mom. My dad's a punk. He left when I was 2. And I lived in the bedroom. My mom lived in the living room, and I could not have friends. We were ashamed of being poor and broke. And my simple dream was just to live in a house. And my brother went to a foster home. It was kind of a rough deal. And then I didn't really know him, so it was just me and my mom. So during that time, I was a rough kid, and I would get in trouble and fights. I was overweight. I just lost 50 pounds. Please put your hands together for the 50 pounds. I did. And this is the first time that I have tucked my shirt in, for real. Yeah, I mean, Al knows me. I've known Al 5 years ago. If I just ran, and just 5 minutes a day. I'm being serious. I just ran, and then I went to 10 minutes, and then I ran a half a marathon. So the cool thing is I did a radio post on it. It's like it's easier to become a millionaire than it is to run a marathon. It's the same principles. Whatever you're successful in, you just need to apply that to real estate. If you're successful in getting dressed every day, if you can get dressed every day, you can do real estate. It's not that difficult. And so my mom did the Karate Kid. We moved from New Jersey to California, and we lived in Imperial Beach, right on the edge of Tijuana. Our house got broken into. My mom was destitute. We were on the edge of food stamps. And so I had to meet my dad for the first time when I was like around 15. That was whack. And then I came to know Jesus in 1992. And from there, my youth minister, I never heard the word Baptist. She's like, you need to go to Oklahoma Baptist University. There's Indians and cowboys. In Oklahoma, I'm from the city. And so that's how I got to Oklahoma. My second dream was to be a business owner, and I started a DJ business. So that was pretty interesting. And then one day, I was fat, overweight, overworked, going nowhere, and I heard this word called the duplex. Has anybody ever heard the word duplex? Now keep in mind, I never heard the word duplex. It's like, and I never heard the word Jesus until I heard about Jesus. And I was like, this dude died for me? I thought you just were cool, you don't kill nobody, you go to heaven. No, that's not how it works. Well, that's the same concept with a duplex. Never heard of a duplex. Somebody lives on one side. So I was in the music business at this time, DJing, and this guy handed me this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And these little punk rocker kids were 18 years old, touring the country in their band, and they didn't have to worry about money. I'm like, that's interesting. They lived in a duplex. One person paid for their whole mortgage payment on one side, and that was the first time that I ever realized that, and that was in 1996, 97 is when I got the copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Has everybody, first of all, who has not read the book? You have, okay, we got 7 people. I'm glad for your honesty. Like, I would just stop what I was doing, don't buy no courses, and just read the book. And then after that book, you need to read Rich Dad Poor Dad made me a millionaire. Millionaire Fastlane by M.J. DeMarco made me a multi-millionaire. So if you really want to go to the next level, read Millionaire Fastlane. So I read the book. It didn't tell you how to do it. That, you know, when I share that book with people, they're like, "Oh, that guy's just trying to make money selling books." Yeah, you're dumb. I sold everything I owned, and the only thing I did was buy assets. Now I was broke, and I was mowing the grass at this house, and I saw a sign. It said, auction. I went online. This is in 1999. I went to the auction site. I saw a house. It was like 4 streets down. I drove over there. I walked around the house. I was like, bam, I'm going to this auction. Now, I had no skill. I just read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Didn't go in the house. I don't recommend you go like this, but this is how I did it. And it was like 11,000, 12,000. I've only been in Oklahoma for about 4 years from California. You know, houses are like, that's why I left there. You can't buy anything. I'm like, you can buy a house for $14,000? Is that possible? So I raised my hand. I had no money. I'm being serious. My mom lived in California still, and I won this house for $14,500. Back then, auctions, you only had to put down 5%. So I wrote a hot check. Back then, it's a true story. I mean, this, you know, they said you got to burn the bridge behind you. I just wanted to be rich. I'm not going to lie to you. I wanted to be wealthy. And it's just hysterical for me to be here. So I wrote this hot check for $700 and something. That was on Friday was the auction. So I had 24 hours, but now they, process it in 5 minutes now. I went and pawned. I had this awesome gold chain from the 80s with a little eagle on it. I pawned that, and I covered the cost, but I couldn't get a loan. They were like, "You're a DJ. What's a DJ?" I had no W-2. I was just a hustler. And I called my mom in California. I was like, "Mom, I bought this house." And she called Bank of America. And Bank of America said, $14,000. And my mom was living in a trailer park at the time. And they wrote me the loan. That's how I got into the game. That was my very first deal. Then 2012, I wrote The Savvy Landlord. And then I started the radio show. And your goal today is to be, you want passive income. Residual is I want to get that tattooed on me. I have a few tattoos. I want to add that one on there. Passive income, not a passive life. So that's how I started, 1999. And the only reason why I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to talk even faster here in a minute, is because I want for you to, if you heard me yesterday, I want to change your life. Not that you buy my stuff. I want to change your life because you can do it. This is how I did it. Now, I have changed over this almost 20 years, 18 years. I bought houses, 9 of them. In that 6 years period, I had no idea what I was doing. I just picked up the phone. Would you take payments? I read Nothing Down by Robert G. Allen, and I just did everything he said. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. It says buy assets. It didn't matter. Then I got my very first loan. So for 6 years, I was just going nowhere, putting $2,000 a down. I DJ'd in a club. I got paid $100 to DJ. This is how simple my mind is. I DJ'd 20 times and bought a house. DJ 20 times, $2,000, and I was like, "Can I give you $2,000 to take over your payments?" Now, of course, I got corrupted by banks in 2006. Now I'm lazy. Now I'm pushing myself. I'm going back to owner finance, subject twos, and doing all this cool stuff I should have done. So I did that. I got my very first loan from a bank. Did fix and flip, horrible. Don't do those. Don't flip, hold. Just my philosophy. 2007 to 2010, I bought my first commercial building. Then my life changed in 2011. I read that book, Millionaire Fastlane by M.J. DeMarco. You need to write that down. Millionaire Fastlane by M.J. DeMarco. Has anybody read that book? Yeah, only my friends. I need more friends. As Vina said yesterday, money friends or financial friends, that's sexy. All right. 2012, 5 deals, wrote the book. Then 13, 23 deals, 14, 31 deals, rehab. Then I met this guy named Thomas Morgan. Then I learned this thing called wholesaling. I started making money, $85,000 on 11 deals. Now, where I'm at today. I don't know what I'm going to do with the Savvy Somebody, but now I want to build relationships, and I'm trading up. I'm taking my hood rat houses, and I'm buying middle grade houses. I wish I would have got more into private money, which I am now, and then focus on just building and helping people. That's where I am today. All right, put your hands together, clap it up. And then just 3 years ago, it was a dream. I was sitting here like you, and then I asked Vina to speak. She punked me. She's like, "Who are you?" And I said, "Girl, you don't know who I am. You're about to find out." We're going to find out right now, because I'm going to blow your mind. Here we go. First of all, I'll give you another one. You got to use technology to leverage your time. So we use money to leverage to buy assets. You buy a $100,000 house. You want to put down as least as possible. You put down 10% or 20%. You want to pull out equity. You want to buy more houses, and that's how you get to 150 houses. You know, I find houses. I buy them at 70%, and then I refinance. I take that cash out, and I use that money. And just imagine what you can do. Well, I do the same thing with technology. I use things like Wink app. I have an Airbnb, and when people check in, I don't know about you on Airbnb, but I don't like to change the code, and I want to change the code all the time. I can just do it on my phone. I use this thing called the Wink, and I buy this lock right here, and I never have to go to the property again. I dispatch the cleaning lady. She has her own code, and I can see on my phone when she checked in, when she checked out. It all comes on my phone, and it's like a couple $100. Now, I'm real thrifty. I have all thermostats. This is just my one screen at my house with all my, so that's a building on the bottom. I got 10 AC units at that building. And I, like right now, before I leave here, I'll go and turn off all the AC in all the cribs, just to save money. Those are only $100. You need to buy the Honeywell RTH6580 on Amazon. You can find them for $80. You can still buy them at Lowe's. They're idiot proof. You have to have internet. So if you got a vacancy, but hey, you got a property with no electricity, or you don't have a property that doesn't have Wi-Fi, right? You just get this, Simply Safe. Anybody have Simply Safe? All right, you can buy that for $100. They're mobile. It's $25 a month. You can control your workers. That's the favorite word. I learned that from Thomas. You want to control paper, or Augie Bailai. Everybody know Augie Bailai? You need to learn. You need to know him. And you can set this up. You just plug it in. You got to have electricity, and it looks like a real alarm. And you can let your tenants or your prospective tenants check the house out, and it will show you on your phone. It'll text you as soon as they enter the property. You'll get a text. Hey, your alarm's going off. As soon as they type in a digit, it'll say they're entered the property, and you'll know when they enter or when they leave. And so you can assign 4 codes to your workers. Is that helpful? Yeah. Okay. Do you do it that way? Okay. And the cool thing is, I had a property in Florida that I just sold. It was Airbnb VRBO, and down near Hurricane Central, the power would go off all the time, and it would text me, and then I'd would contact the realtor across the street. I was like, "Hey, is my crib okay?" The cool thing about this is, like, anything that touches the alarm. So if someone tries to be malice and steal it, it'll just let you know. So you don't have to think about it. You can sleep at night. Okay, here's the websites that I use. I have hundreds of websites, and I usually speak on technology, but today I just try to pick the best 10 that's going to help you. You need to get this website, familytreenow.com. If you were in here earlier, if you want to know who your tenant has kissed before, it's on there. It's scary. You should just pull this up for fun. Just put your name in there in the city that you're from. That's all. It's free. You put your name. They've been sued several times. They aggregate so much information, it's scary. It shows the girlfriend that I had in high school. Put my name in there, and I dated Kathy. She's in there. It's crazy. And do you think that's useful for skip trace, or finding an owner, or a deadbeat tenant? There you go. Family Tree Now. Real Estate ABC. Okay. I can't remember who owns this website. It's free, which is one of my favorite words besides residual. Residual free. Free residual is even better. This website gives you comps for free, but the best thing about this is that it gives you actual sales comps of cash. So if you're a realtor, what comps they're giving you? What financed? They're not giving you cash comps. This is how you become savvy. This is how I put offers in. It shows me who's buying in that neighborhood and how many transactions are in cash. And what does that mean to you? Money's coming in, money's going out. You probably should be involved. Okay? And if you got real smart, you can buy cash lists, or you can download cash buyers lists, and you can see VanCauwenbergh is in that neighborhood. Obviously, something's going on, and you should probably be involved. So that's Real Estate ABC. And here's the trick on this website. So it just lists everything. What you need to do is highlight it, like drag, copy, and paste, and dump it into a spreadsheet, which is Google Drive, and then you can sum it, do the average through. Does that little advance? Everybody got that part? So it doesn't spit out the average. You're gonna have to cut and paste it, drop it in there. Okay, Doc Hub. I use this. Everything I do is in Google Drive. This laptop is a brand new laptop. Completely, my goal is I push myself. I never want to touch a Windows product again. This is a hybrid laptop. This is a Chromebook with Android apps, all in one little deal. My goal is never to do everything in the cloud, and I use Doc Hub, which connects to Google Drive for free for so many a month. But I can sign, I can send stuff. It's just like DocuSign or any of those other software, but it's seamless. Like I can open up any document on Google Drive and sign it, send it, do it all, and it's free, and that's Doc Hub. Voxer. Does anybody use Voxer? 2 people, 2 savvy people. The guy that pushes me on it, and the guy I don't know. Well, Voxer.com, every wholesaler in Oklahoma City uses this like religiously. What it is, it's like a texting, a voicemail, it's like a walkie-talkie, but it keeps everything combined. This friend of mine, his wife is a realtor and he's a real estate investor. So they have like 10 projects going, and they may talk about that one project, and it stores all that information. And so you can have you as the manager and have 10 workers, and you're all on the same page. So you're not confused, and it's on your phone, it's free. You hit a button, you forgot to change the toilet. And then it will be on there, and then everybody will blast out a message to everybody that you attach to it. It's extremely powerful. It's Voxer. Bandit signs. Would you like to pay $1 for a bandit sign? Or signs in general, or a real estate sign? This is the old school dirtcheapsigns.com. They're out of Dallas, except for during political days, when everybody's electing somebody. Don't try to buy a sign down then.
What size for $1?
18 by 20, 12 by 18 or 12 by 24, somewhere. I pay $1 a sign. It's like this big. 18 by 12 by 18. But I buy 12 by 24s. dirtcheapsigns.com. Now, I know I got people that are all ages in here. You've got to start using Google Drive. Okay? With Google Drive, my whole life is synced. I upload videos. So I go to a property, I do a video, and then it's already in the cloud. By the time I jump on something, then I right click and then I send it to my property manager. You got to get on Google Drive. Smallpdf.com. This is my alternative to Adobe Acrobat, Photoshop. I'm tired of being tied down to somebody. This is an awesome. You could do 4 or 5 things a month. It's like $4 a month, but you can break PDFs. You can put PDFs. You can convert PDFs to JPEGs. So basically, it's a Adobe Acrobat in the cloud. Never have to run anything on my machine. Now, is anybody on Facebook? Does anybody have a Facebook page for their business? Well, you got a problem. You should be doing that. I don't even want to get into Facebook. I can do a whole session on Facebook. I mean, you can make paramount money on Facebook. But you should be interacting with people on Facebook, right? When you post something, it goes on their thing. Everybody understands Facebook, right? Well, you use buffer.com, and you can schedule all of your announcements. And so if you're a real estate author, and you can say, here's a tip today, and you can plan it out for years in advance, and it posts it for you. You can do it specifically at noon on Thursday. I use Buffer, and I schedule all of my posts, whatever I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to engage my crowd, or if I'm trying to sell a house, Buffer.com. Does anybody use Buffer? One person. Pixlr. Is this helpful stuff? Yes. Okay. Do you want me to give you more? Yes. All right. What time am I going to roll out of here? Because I got 100 more of these. All right. Pixlr. This is Pixlr. You can get this as a Chrome extension that pops up. You can go to the website. And this is basically Adobe Photoshop in the cloud. So you don't have to buy the $100 or $5,000, $600, $6,000 Adobe Photoshop. You can edit, cut photos fast in the browser, bang, bang, right there. So if you need to make a photo better, it's a photo editing software I've been using that probably about 7 years. Now, can you guys see that way up there? VanCauwenbergh, you sure that you can buy a faucet for $29? Would you like to buy that faucet for $29? Yes. Say yes. Yes. Does anybody know about Wish.com? Yes. So you're a hustler too. Wish.com, does anybody, Alibaba? Anybody heard of Alibaba? AliExpress? Well, Wish is another alternative. It's direct consumer to China. So the same thing as at Home Depot, kind of. You can buy you can get that $100 faucet for $29. Now it's direct to China, so there's some communication errors. It takes a couple of weeks, but I order everything from there. Not all my material, but like technology stuff, squishies. Anybody have a flea market in there? Anybody do any side hustles? You want a side hustle right now to make a lot of money real fast? Buy squishies. Anybody know what a squishy is? It's this children item. They squeeze it and it pops up. It's like a donut. It's an ice cream cone. You can buy these for $1 from China. You can sell them for $12 a piece. Just right there. You just paid for your time here. Squishy. Squishy. Just go OK Google and say squishy, and you'll see it. If you don't know about OK Google, something wrong. Shoebox.com. I don't do this anymore because I got staff now, but back when I was just by myself, I would get a receipt, write the property on there, shove it in an envelope. It was postage paid. It would go to Shoebox. Within 3 days, it was scanned in the cloud, in a spreadsheet. I could search it, type in Lowe's or Home Depot. It's IRS approved. A friend of mine, Ed, was having Ed, are you in here? Yeah, punk. Yeah, I got your t-shirt and you didn't even show up. And he called me up. He's like, yo, man, I'm getting an audit. I was like, that's every real estate investor's, something went wrong. Like diarrhea just happened. And just thinking about that. And he's like, I got all these receipts. They're all in boxes. I'm going to get hammered. I'm like, dude, go to Shoebox. He mailed up thousands of receipts. It was all organized. He settled that audit. Shoebox.com. All right. I don't go to the post office. And I evict a lot of people. If you don't pay, you don't stay. Everybody should say that. You don't pay, you don't stay. And I'm very clear when I meet with you, when you sign a lease. It's on or before the 1st. If you pay on the 2nd, what happens? You got a late fee. If you don't pay on the 2nd, you get a 5-day notice. I never go, in Oklahoma, you have to certify mail everything. Certified mail labels is bomb. It's $4.80. You got to buy their little envelopes, about 40 cents. They're green envelopes. You can click a button. It prints out a certified mail with a barcode. You stuff it in the green envelope. You drop it off in a blue thing, and it's certified mail. And it holds up in court. I've been to court more than I would ever want to admit to, because we don't pay, you don't stay, we got to evict you. So that right there, I don't have to leave the office. Certified mails. So if you like what you saw so far, certifiedmaillabels.com. If those websites were good for you, I have a course. I got 65 more videos, all and show you how to do them all. That's in my course. All right. Now, my claim to fame is before I got here, I had 50 units and I worked about 10 hours a week. People didn't believe me. And so I'm going to go into it We got a bunch of time left. We got an hour. I'm going to spend a lot of time on systems. If you really want to take your business to the next level, which is what my goal for you to do is, you got to create a system. Man, I have a system how to do my laundry. I got 2 baskets. Stuff I got to hang up and stuff I got to throw in the dryer. Okay? That's it. It's a system. It's either one or the other. My whole life is a giant system. If you want to be wealthy, you got to have a system. Okay? Now, does everybody agree? Everybody's excited? You should be excited about systems. Okay? Now, you got to always keep in perspective why we're an investor. Okay? So I'm going to bring you back to the bottom. You're to make money. Okay? To be an investor is not to be cool. All right? Cool's over with. We're going to make money. Let's say make money. Okay. To build wealth. Now, how do you make money? You got to leverage your time and you got to leverage your resources. And how do you do that? With systems. And you got to ask, what's your why? The thing is, to create a system is extremely difficult. It's not easy for certain type of people, like the chase the shiny toy thing or shiny thing. That's the big message that I received thus far here this weekend. And I'm like, I do that. I lose focus. You've got to fight through that, and you got to remind yourself what's your why. So I always bring it to perspective. It saves time, no guesswork. It's a seamless transition. For example, if my general manager quit tomorrow, no big deal. I have another person right in place. I can easily hire somebody in 3 days to run my business and keep rolling. Okay? So if you think that way now, when you're grinding it out, which it takes work, you got to create a system. I always think it will be easy for my staff. This is how we do it. This is how we always do it. And then you always will be consistent. And people in your world will like you better if you're consistent. If you're constantly changing stuff, they don't want to hang around you. All right. So this is how it all starts. So when you get to, people ask me, when should I hire a property management company? Well, today, if you ask me that question, I'll be like, as soon as possible. You shouldn't be working. But we all start somewhere. So I ran 50 units at 10 hours a week. So that's a goal. I would say when you get to 20 units, you should do it. 20, 25, 50. Now I'm going to show you how I leverage technology and the Postal Service. And then 80, I had 15. I was going a little batty at 15. I was like, that's too much work in this game. And then 100 units, and I had full-time out. I mean, maybe 1 hour a day, I just check in and see what's going on. I use technology, all those websites that I explained to you, and then forms. So these are the forms. So first of all, if you want to be professional, you should do everything in writing. It protects you in court, okay? You're in a liability game as a real estate investor. You should document everything. Now, an easy way to document everything is through Google Voice. Does everybody have Google Voice? Google Voice is, you got to get it with the Gmail account, and it tracks all your communication with your tenant by text. Okay, you could do this with RingCentral. You can do this with CallRail. I use CallRail, which is $30 a month, and I get 10 phone numbers, and it tracks everything. And I got analytics. But when I'm dealing with, now we're talking about tenants, and how did I leverage my time? I never talk to a tenant, and you should never talk to a tenant either. It goes right to the voicemail. From that voicemail, Google Voice will transcribe the message for me, and then I can see, hey, my water heater doesn't work. I cut and paste that. I text it to my handyman, and he goes and checks out the water heater. I never talk to them. Now, if I have a problem with these people, tenants, then I send them notices. So before we even get started and sign the lease, I'm up front. Listen, we don't answer the phone. We may come back to you in 24 hours. If you call us, we prefer, just so it's in writing, you send us a text message or an email. We prefer that type of communication. So that's the notice on the right. When they sit down, this is how we play. We're a property management company, and for your safety, we do everything in writing, and we prefer for you not to call us. You can call us. We're probably not going to answer the phone respectfully because we want to keep it in writing. But of course, there's people that are at a certain age, and that's all they want to do is talk on the phone. They won't get a hold of us. Then the second thing is I sit down with them, and I explain to them, this is the eviction process. This is why if you're going to get evicted. We don't want you to get evicted. I know you're excited, you want to move in, and so I give them that notice on the left, explains to them exactly what's going to happen. Two things happen. Either they're not going to sign the lease or they're going to play. There's no confusion. When they're late, I thought I had a 5-day notice. That might be ghetto landlord, but we don't give 5-day notices Well, we don't give you 5-day grace period. Your rent is due when? On or before the 1st. You should say before the 1st. On or before the 1st. That means by the 2nd at 8 a.m., if it's not in there, you're going to be charged a $50 late fee. And then we walk them through the process. Then, if you decide to go through eviction court, we send you this notice. And this is my favorite notice. I got the police badge on there. I got the sheriff badge on there. This is a criminal thing. You're going to go to jail or hell, either one, if you don't pay your rent. It's real simple. Right? You can't go to Chili's, order a cheeseburger, and have a good time and walk out and say, I won't pay you later. Right? If you don't pay your electricity, they're going to cut you off. Well, I don't know why as landlords we're confused, like we got to give them a 5-day notice. Chase Bank doesn't give me 5-day notice. Right? It's just why do we, because it's an emotional game. Well, I cut the emotions out with forms. Okay? It's real clear. My condom notice. Yep, one time. I don't want to get into that story. All right. So the wife was all confused why she was paying $125 plumber fee. I said, man, there's 20 condoms in the house, in the sewage thing. So we're very clear. If these things, if our plumbers are trained, they will not get paid. If you want to work for us, when we want your business, and you want our business, if you don't take a picture, everybody's trained in our deal. Like when you walk on a property, you take a picture. If you see trash, you pick up trash. I don't care who you are. If you do a clean out and you find a cigarette butt or a diaper or some needles, you take a picture, you forward it to the office, then we forward it right to the tenant and we bill them $125 for that thing. So at this point in time, what does this cost me? 55 cents to mail this notice. Well, they get this notice in the beginning, and I actually add on fees to the notice. So the plumber charges me $80. I charge the tenant $125. Why is that? Why? Because your time's valuable. You know what's so crazy is that your bank charges you a fee. They're using my money and leveraging my money 4 times, 10 times, whatever the factor is, and they're going to charge me to host my money. Why? Why can't we be in the same game? That's why you need to hang out with George Antone. I sent him a lease violation. Has anybody ever done this? Lady calls up crying. Man, all my electricity's off. And what's the first thing you do? You feel bad. You send an electrician over there. How much does an electrician charge? $75, $100, $125? And what it was a breaker. So my little notice to the right. Ma'am, this is how you check your breakers. So if my property manager sees anything with the word electricity on it, they send that notice to them. Because remember, when you sit down with them, they're not going to remember anything because they're so excited they want to move in. So if you educate them on the front end, it works. Sometimes it doesn't work, but you got to periodically educate them through the process of living in your home. This is your responsibility. This is my favorite one to the left. Heat and air. Anybody? The biggest expense is heat and air, correct? And how does a heat and air freeze up? Anybody have that problem? It's called freezing up. Or a frozen coil. How much does a frozen coil cost? Somebody said $400. How much? The minimum is $250. And how does the A coil freeze up? It's because of a dirty filter. So there's a little notice right there. It says, I will, Joe Tenant, will change my filter out once a month. If I don't change out the filter and there's a service call, I will gladly pay $125, right? Or I'll pay the fee. They sign that. My heat and air guy, guess what his job is? Everybody in the building needs to go right to the AC. It don't matter if something wrong with your sink, we're going to go right to the AC and open up the air filter and take a picture. And as soon as we see that filter dirty, we send them $125. Now, I don't mean to be seen mean about it, but that's just because they don't care about you, right? They only care. That's just like, you don't care about me. You come here to get content, right? But the reality is the truth. If we don't have accountability, and accountability is this, we're never going to grow. So you got to grow your business by educating your tenants. I send them cutoff notices, like if they're late more than once or twice, and if they're on Section 8, this is the situation we have. You going to court, you're going to hell. Here's your judgment notice. I love Jesus, but here we go. You didn't pay your rent, you out. And I'm going to file on you at the same time. So these are just some notices. This is how I do it. So this is how I leverage all my time. I use the postal service, 50 cents, and I just hit print on my deal, and it would just send it. All right. So how do we create a system? You got to have a workflow. You got to identify what works for you. Now, I'm a little I don't know what my personality is, but OCD? Girl, I'm not OCD. You on the wrong club. I'm on it. Like, I'm not no punk. I don't know what it is. But that, I'll get up in your face within reason. Confrontational, I really don't want a confrontation, but I want to be clear, I guess, because I don't want to go back. So what works for you may not work for me, right? You may like to give them 10-day notices. I give them no notice. 5-day notice. Right now, you won't pay. You need to write out your system, and you need to motivate your system. So the freedom, the theme that keeps happening, Brad Grayson coined that freedom, that he owns that word, trademark, is to do this process, you have to realize the end result is freedom. It's not easy, but you have to do it. And I'm constantly changing. I just learned since I've been here that I need to change my lease. Oh, it was Amy Lopez. Is she in here? Of course not. She said in her lease that she puts in there, if you aren't in default and we file on you, you will be paying collection fees. You will be paying Isn't that awesome? So just a one line, you will be paying collection fees. And so when we turn you into a collections agency, you'll be paying that difference. Thought that was a good thing. So we're always constantly doing course correction, stick to your budget, stick to stay, have a plan, and you'll make more money. So this is how I create a system. I create a workflow. I write down, I get a blank piece of paper, and I write down everything I need to get done and what I'm trying to do. I never want a tenant to call me again, and I want all my rents in on time. That's my plan. I put that on top. Then I start thinking, how can I get that to happen? How can I get people to pay me? So then I put it in order. So then I'm a visual, I'm old school, I'm 44 years old, so I still print stuff out, I still write stuff out, but I'm in technology. So when I'm writing this, I create a 3-ring binder, and then I create a system. And the reason why I create a system, so when someone new on my team comes, like if I fire a property manager or I'm in a new market, I could just hand them my 3-ring binder. So I actually start creating my 3-ring binder as soon as I create a new thing. So like if you really want to learn how to write a book, I've written 5 books. I have a system down pat, verbatim, how to write a book. This is the first thing you got to do. You got to write an outline. Then you got to do outline. Then you got to do research. And so you write all that down and you create a sequence of orders. Then, back in the day when my mom was alive, it was awesome because I get to provide for my mom. She would sit next to me, and then I would call my mom an idiot. That's not what I said. But I get the idiot test. So I'd have my mom, who's like 60-something years old, barely knows doesn't even know what a mouse is. She thought it was the real thing. But the greatest thing about my mom called me up one day. She's like, hey, how do you rewind a DVD? I said, girl, you just hold the button all the way to the left. And if my mom sat there and used to rewind DVDs, ain't that wrong? So I didn't never call my mom an idiot. My mom's bomb. I wouldn't be where I am today. My mom died and sacrificed for me. But I would have my mom. If my mom can check in a tenant and process a payment and transfer money in my system, then it will work for anybody else. So you got to find a friend, and this is a great place to find a friend. Hey, I really want to ramp up my business. I want to really do wholesaling, or I really want to, and they're green too. And if you both do it together, and this is what I'm thinking, how does it look? It just makes life easier. It is tough. To be wealthy is not easy. But my mentor, he's like, man, when you get to 1,000 a month, it's hard, passive income. When you get to 2,000, it's hard. When you get to 5,000, it's okay. You feel like you're somebody. When you get to 10,000 a month, it's easy. And sure enough, it's the truth. After 10,000 passive income, it's just super duper easy. You'll make 50, 100. But you have to push through. You got to get to the $500 a month. I was so excited when I had $500 a month passive income. I didn't have to think about it. And it's a living document. This is just a basic workflow system. This is the process of closing a document. So if I like to have people work for me that never heard of real estate before. So I get to control them. That's my favorite. No. But I get to teach them to do it right. When someone says, oh man, I've been doing transactions for 30 years, I don't want you to work for me. You know, and you got to be smart. And, when I give them a visual aid like this, they just know the process. And I'm going to go into, we got enough time, right? Are you guys juicy? Are you guys tired? No. Is this, are we good? Yes. I hope so, because I'm all over the place. So I just show them this. So I'm going to tell you how I do eviction court. So I have a similar PowerPoint for my office for a new person. Now, I learned this from Mike Butler. I know a lot of people came up to me, isn't Mike Butler the autopilot or landlord on autopilot? Anybody thought that when they saw that? Mike Butler is my friend. But Vina made my thing. She's like, I don't even know what the subject should be. And it's all crazy. I got systems, technology, and then I'm going to end with virtual assistants. But you have to have a system, and this is my exact system that I train a new person. This is how we handle evictions. First of all, we have a process. Everything we do is a process. And I mean by process, I mean a checklist. When our goal, though, on evictions, this is my little speech to my person next to me. Hey, we want to stop the eviction process as possible. We really do not want to go to court. You're kind of a janky landlord if you're going to eviction court. There is a way to communicate to your tenant to stop this process, to save you the embarrassment, and for you to move out. So you always want to do cash for keys. Remember, it takes time. You want to hire a lawyer. I was writing this book, Confessions of an Eviction Court. I'm like, ain't anyone gonna read that. Nobody reads anyway. But I went to court like 60 times, and I was like, that's dumb. Now I hire a lawyer. You should hire a lawyer because there's this guy in my market that I hire. When that dude just stands up, they already know it's done. It's like, wow, it's so corrupt, this system. I go there, the judge is trying to slam me and like, you a millionaire. They just think you have one house, you're a millionaire. They just think that because you sacrificed, that you didn't go out to eat dinner every day, that you work 5 jobs to get to where you are, but you're a millionaire, right? And you should just sacrifice and die, because this tenant is ghetto. All right. So sometimes I offend people, so I'm trying not to. So anyway, I realized real fast it's worth to pay the guy $150 to do eviction for you. It's a speeder, it's cleaner, it's done right, and they change laws. And then this is the fees. We always want to pay to move out. We always do the notices and then the checklist. All right, so this is a basic checklist that I have. Did you give the tenant the 5-day notice? So in Oklahoma, we have these rules. You have to give a 5-day notice. After the 5 days, then you're able to file on them. Then when you file on them, did you fill out their name? What's their case number? And so then this little document, this eviction checklist, and this is just ghetto. There's nothing special here. You can do this. Real big, I wrote eviction process. So in your world, you can write out move out process. I'm going to cover that one. And then I have a process for everything. How to take money, how to give money, how to reserve a place, how to post a video, how to get a video edited. I have a system for everything. So it's simple. You create the checklist. This is the process. Every time someone's in eviction process, we let them know, hey, I'm sending this notice all the time. By the time they move out or stay in, they've gotten this notice. They can quote this to me. Yep. It says, and the big line right there is my favorite. At any time, you can stop this process by contacting your property manager. All right, so this is what the office needs to do. First thing you got to do is you got to print the checklist. Then you got to give the 5-day notice. I do this thing called the 3-step slap. I'm always nervous that I'm going to get in trouble somewhere, so I want to cross all my barriers. So I email them the eviction. I certified mail it to them. I even regular mail it to them. And then in Oklahoma, you have to hand deliver to them or post them. I go one extra, I mail it to them. So everything we do in correspondence, if a tenant calls us, we email them back, we text them back, and if I have a full-time employee working at that time, I'll have them call them back. So then I send them the 5-day notice, we post it, and I outsource that. There's some lawn care guy in your market for $15, $10, hey man, can you go post this notice because I'm going to get shot. If you're a landlord walking on a property, that's probably not the only property you should be walking on is a property you won't buy. Never when you want to deal with somebody. There is people out there, lawn care people are my favorite people, they like to make extra money. So I have a deal with my lawn care guy. I got 4 or 5 eviction notices. I say, hey, would you mind posting this up? $10 a piece, $50? Bam, he posts it up. Then Then I mail them another notice. I mail them my cutoff notice. Hey, now you're about to go to hell for real. Like before I was just playing with you. Now we're being serious. Now we're going to file on you. Then I have another notice that I wrote, and this is philosophy. This is what happens when you go through eviction. You will be posted in a newspaper. You will be standing in front of the judge. Your life will never be the same again. I recommend that we stop this process now. That's another notice that I sent. So I'm leveraging what? I'm leveraging the postal service. I'm leveraging my printer. And I never talk to the tenant, and I'm never disgruntled, and I'm never having a process problem, and everything's documented. So when I go to court, I'm like, Your Honor, this is what happened. This is the game. Here's my checklist. And we follow. And everybody's on the same page. Then I file on them. They get evicted. That's the summons in the petition. If my new staff member, AKA, it's also called as an eviction, then we have to hire a process server. Then I send them, after we win in court, I got to send them a judgment notice, bang, bang. Then I send them a statement notice, and then I give this to my accountant, and I get this as a deduction. And then I go to court, I do my file, and then I got to do my lockout, and that's the sheriff. I pay the sheriff to come and do it. Pretty simple system, right? But when you hear the word eviction, you think it's overwhelming. But when you break it down, so Vina broke it down on how to buy houses. And that's the system. So that was my 5-minute training that I would train my new property manager. Then this slides are the ones that I tell them exactly how to do it. You print out 4 copies. You get 2 hand copies, one for your records, one for the tenant, one for the office of service, regular mail, certified mail. Pretty simple. Could you think you could do the idiot test? Can you do it? Right. Then you go to certified mail. You log in. Hey, you got to log in. If you don't have an account, make an account. Pretty simple. Assemble the mailing, duplicate, and bam. And now I just cut that process all out. I just do the 5-day notice, and I just pass it on to the attorney. If I have more than so many evictions, because it costs me about $300 to do an eviction. And then I add the fees to my ledger, and that's how I evict people. I hand deliver it, and then you should do this. Can somebody give me some water, please? Thank you. Here's a tip for you. Hopefully this will help you. If you have Section 8, you should probably contact your Section 8 people, the Section 8 office, that they're late on their rent. As soon as you do that, I learned that the hard way, it just speeds up the process. It creates a sense of urgency in their world to do that. Any questions on eviction systems? Any questions on systems? All right. This is how I create systems. So you got to get this. If you got Google Drive, if you don't have Google, there's something wrong with you. Go to mindamup.com. Mindamup.com. Okay, this is a free service in there, and you can make those little bubbles, and then from the bubbles, that thing that I made, does everybody know that? Okay. You brainstorm, you do sequence of orders, and I'm going over this again because I want you to leave this place today empowered that you can do this. And just start small. But I'm reiterating this over. If you just got in here, you got lucky because it's your first time. But if you've been in here for more than 20 minutes, this is the second time I'm going over again. Okay? You've got to do it. Knowing the outcome will help you increase your business. All right. You want to go through one more? Okay. This is, thank you, Keith. This is my renting out a unit. Stage 1, bang, bang, pre-qualified. This is what, I can come up with weird stuff. Stage 1, ABC. So again, we never answer the phone, and we pre-qualify people as much as possible. So the 4 questions that I wrote down is, when do you want to move in? I love it when people want to apply for a property and they're not moving in for 6 months from now. Something ain't right. I'm glad that you're ambitious, but I'm not your landlord. Will you be living with yourself? Now you gotta be careful. You gotta ask questions to get the information without affecting fair housing. Okay? Will you be living by yourself? Or or how many people will be living with you? And they usually will say, I got 3 kids, 8, 5, and 10. because you can't come out and say, you got some children? Okay. Have you driven by the property? That's a key question that I ask. This is all automated. So as soon as they apply for a property or have an inquiry or even a text message, this goes right out to them and just pre-qualifies them within 3 minutes. If they haven't driven by the, say it again? Email. We do the 3-step slab. If there was a property manager full-time, she got nothing going on, she should call them and ask them these questions. We email these questions. You falling asleep in the front row. You all right? This is my epic thing. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I tucked my shirt in. I lost 50 pounds. Damn, girl. She was like this. Where you from? Oh, can you hear me? Okay. And then the number one question is, have you driven by the property? I love when people do the property, and because they're moving from Missouri, and it's $500, and they think it's the Taj Mahal. No, you're gonna get shot at this house. Be prepared. So drive by it a few times, because it's like, I think it's illegal to say this is a great neighborhood, right? I don't know. Would you like to view the home? When? That's another question. And it's a canned email, and we actually cut and paste that and text that to them slowly, and then we screen them. So we pre-qualify them right there. A lot of people are chasing dollars, and they're not even ready to move in, or they got 10 pit bulls, and you can't work with that. So you know that all up front. Then we move them into stage 2. Are they approved? You move them to stage 3. If they're denied, we send them a application, you're rejected. Now, here's a tip for you. Everybody's 90% approved. Say, everybody's 90% approved. Yes. I think I stole that from Mr. Landlord. If you don't know about Jeffrey Taylor, you're missing out. MrLandlord.com. But your other competition, now here's the thing I always tell my staff. Listen, they need a place to live. There's something wrong with you if they're not living in our property. Pretty simple, right? This is the easiest game. There's no comparison. They have to live somewhere. They call you, you got to close them. They have to live. They're moving. People just don't call, hey, I was just wondering, one day I may move. And let's think about it. No, they just gave a 30-day notice, or they're about to give a 30-day notice. Their world's upside down. They're moving. If they're not living in our property, there's something wrong, right? I mean, you're not doing your job. So all these other landlords out there, these joker landlords that are not in this room, they're messing around people. Right up the front, you're 90. If we can get them to fill out an application for free, for free. All you cheap landlords, it costs nothing to fill out an application online for free. Now, after we want to look at that application, if that application meets our minimum requirements, then we charge them a fee. But it says on all our ads, free to fill out an application online. Okay, now we've obligated them in one way. We've made them feel comfortable. Then, as soon as they fill out that application, as soon as we get the notice, bang, I send another email to them that says, boom, you're 90% pre-approved. Now we got to verify, make sure you're not no joker and you're lying about your application. Okay, so then after that, we reject them. Are they serious about renting? Are they moving? When are they moving? And that's stage 3. We send them an email through Gmail. Everything's through canned emails. You could use this program. It's free. It's called Streak. Does anybody use Streak? Yeah, learn another thing. Write that down. Streak. If you're doing this all by yourself, now you can do this through Buildium or Appfolio, but you can add an extension inside your Gmail that you can do a CRM built into your Gmail, and you can do timed emails and autoresponders in your Gmail. Streak, like you're getting naked. All right. Streak, man. You want me to streak? No. I know I lost weight and I look good, but damn. Streak, S-T-R-E-A-K. Wow. Streak, not streak, streak. Streak. You streak when you're naked, you run through the parking lot. All right. We're going to have the first landlord streak contest. Streaking. I don't even know how to spell. You hire somebody to spell. We'll get into that later. You have my man Keith. Keith, wave everybody. That's my anal detail guy. He's going to beat me up after this. I don't care. So then, when they filled out the application and they're legitimate, we send them a background check approval. That's where they have to pay the $25 or $35, whatever, or some people charge them $50. Don't be ghetto and take people's money and go to lunch. Like really, I have this thing that I do, and this has been working for 15 years. I'll take your money if I know that I can rent to you, right? But I always try to take their money as soon as possible. And if they don't, I give their money back. I don't just take their money and just keep it. Does that make sense? So if they're legitimate and I know they're not going to pass. She just moved or she just got fired. And I know there's ghetto landlords that just take people's money, and these poor tenants are going from landlord. That's why we have a bad rep, right? Try not to take people's money unless you're really going to help them. Not help them. I'm not helping them, but I'm giving them a place to live. Do the background check. If you're approved, call their employer, verify it. Get their stub, their length of employment, do your due diligence. And I'm talking to my staff. Then you send them an email, we need a deposit today. You got 5 days to get your money in here. We try to send that within, Mr. Landlord says within 24 hours, he tries to lock them up ASAP. There's a guy in my market that just takes anyone's $100 and that secures the property. So my goal is to get them into the office and give them their money. We want to obligate them. Remember, they have to rent somewhere. The minute that you can get any kind of compensation out of them, a deposit of sort, they will stop looking anywhere else. Now, they may go on your website, fill out an application, but they may fill out 10 applications. Now, they won't pull the trigger if they got to pay for an application. So that's your advantage over some other landlord. Because some other landlords won't even talk to you unless you pay for an application. So if you want to change your business model, today would be a good day. Just take everyone's application as much as possible and then turn them in 90%. And then if they're viable, try to get their money as soon as possible. Yes, sir?
How do you take the application? You do online?
It's online. They got to pay online we use Buildium, Appfolio. Then we try to send them within 48 hours of the process. We send them an email. We give them a sense of urgency. You've got to create a sense of urgency with your tenants. This house is not going to last. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. We're the best landlords in the world. We love everybody. We own the east side. This is how we do. Get your money in right now. Call the applicant, ask them, or how are you going to pay for the deposit? Then make sure when they pay the deposit, it's not in there. Double check your details. Make sure you always get anyone that gives me money at all, you want to get a document signed of some sort. Okay? It may be a hand receipt, but just the document that I have them sign, it's in my package. It's like, if you sign this, that we are guaranteeing the property to us. And if you change your mind at any during this process, you're going to lose your deposit. So if you find a better place, I don't say that, you're going to lose your deposit. And on that little piece of paper that I've created, it says, if we don't deliver, we will refund your money. But the goal in your job as a landlord is to get that deposit as soon as possible and obligate them. Double check them. Stage 5, collect the deposit. It's non-refundable agreement. Hey, we don't play around. Then I create a lease packet. We do the keys. And then, so here's some templates that you have. Application approved. Oh, 80% approved. No, that ain't right. 90. Okay, so here's just a basic checklist that I've created. And it's probably, this is a little bit old. I put the address on there. All these things need to happen before you rent the place. By the time you file this, and then all this goes to the cloud. All right, so just like a checklist, just like an airline pilot, just like anything else, you got to do all these things to make the world go round. Can you make one of these things for your business? Say yes. All right, if you like my stuff and you want to buy my stuff, I would appreciate that. All this stuff is in there. You get one notice that I have in my course is you get the mold addendum. Someone that was in the master deal maker session that I was in on Thursday, she's like, should I have a mold addendum? Absolutely, you should have a bed bug addendum. And I paid $300 for that one notice from my attorney, and I made sure, hey, can I sell these since I'm giving you an ungodly amount of money? Can we work out a deal here, and I got the dude to prove it, but there's this like 2-page mold addendum that protects me that if someone tries to call me or tries to sue me on black mold. And there's probably, I have one on bed bugs. It's not on there. I got my air filter, the death addendum. What's a death? Anybody have a death addendum? Of course you do, Brad. 2 people have a death addendum. People die, folks, in your property. It happens. What do you do? Death? Dead. You died on my property. What do you do? Has anybody die in their property? Yeah, it's scary. What do you do? Just like kick the dude out? You know, you can't wrap it up in the carpet and roll them out. I mean, we're gangster, but you can't. You got to have a death addendum. Yeah, you like that. Death addendum, you give me complete power of attorney over the process. I get to keep your flat screen. No, I don't get to keep your flat screen. Well, what it says in my death addendum, it says, I need you to give me someone that I can give all your stuff to. And what it does is it tricks them and gives me another point of contact. Yeah, you like that. Gives me their name, their address. If they're a deadbeat tenant, now I can go after their mom. But, you feel me? And then it says, if I can't get a hold of them over a certain length of time, you do it. All right, everybody put your hands together. Clap it up, clap it up. I can't hear you.
What's your crime-free addendum?
Crime-free? Oh, that's an awesome one. I got that from the city. If you have any kind of criminal activity, it's an automatic acceleration of eviction. I can give you a writ, you can get out. So there's no due process in if you were any kind of illegal activity in your property. I didn't write that notice. That was from. You should do this. Go to like your Section 8 seminars. Every county should have a Section 8 seminar, and they were there and they had that addendum. It's in my package though, but it says Oklahoma on it. Yes, sir.
In your lease agreement, you mentioned that they have a lease situation. When you collect the rent, you do it individually. You said, look, this unit owes me $900 a month. I want it all, or do you deal with it individually?
Okay, so you're asking like why I try to have one point person. If there's like 3 college kids, it's just one person. They're all 3 on the lease. I want as many people on the lease as possible. Okay, but I only deal with one person. If John doesn't pay and Jim does, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go after all 3 equally. But are you asking if they partially pay and I want to evict them? I would evict them. I take their money and I go through the process all over again. I give you a 5-day notice. One of you jokers need to come up with the money. You don't have time for that. Like, it just doesn't work. Okay, so we're about to get into a little bit deeper. Hopefully so far this was powerful for you, but this is my favorite slide. You'll never just achieve success out of your comfort zone. Okay, so we're about to get out of your comfort zone right now. I'm going to blow your mind. We just got started. I go on for days. This is like my subject right here. All right? This laptop is a new one. Just came out on last week. And I'm pushing myself that I do my podcast on Audacity. And that's a Windows product or Windows program. But I have a laptop right here that only runs on Chrome and it only runs on Android apps. I got to push myself because I don't want to be a slave to Microsoft. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give you a tangible example. Okay? You got to work on your business. Don't work on your business. I mean, you know what I'm saying. Work on your business, not in your business. You shouldn't be a landlord. Okay? You should hire this out. But you have to go through this process and leverage like a bank, leverage like money. You got to do it. Okay? So today, I have some stickers. It says, oh, here we go. It says, you got to remind yourself that you're a real estate investor. So I know nobody likes Donald Trump. I understand the dude went whack. Something went wrong with that guy. For real. Something went wrong with that guy. Somewhere, somehow, the guy took the wrong Kool-Aid. But I would always remind myself, what would Donald Trump do? You're fired. Right? You're fired. Like, I don't got time for that. You're fired. You got to think like that. You got to work on your business like that. Okay? And so if you can get that concept in your mind, you can do it. So what is a virtual assistant? Does anybody have any virtual assistants in here? You should have a virtual assistant. When I teach this, I make you do one the night before, and you should come see me tomorrow. So I speak again tomorrow at 10:30. You got to you got to hire a virtual assistant once in your lifetime. Okay, it will blow your mind. Your life will never be the same. You will be a multimillionaire. I could teach you how to make money just off of virtual assistants. Realtors, entrepreneurs, executives, web designers, developers, they all use virtual assistants. The great thing about a virtual assistant, they work with you. They have they have the same best interests in mind. They want a job. They need a job. And they're not, so people get all weird about hiring people. You're paying them $3 or $6. They're just blessed, and I'm blessed to pay them. If you don't think you're paying them enough, you pay them more. You bless them, okay? But they're a partner in your business. They leverage your time. They're excited about it. You're able to focus on what you need to do. So I'm going to show you this video that I created. I could never have done that without a virtual assistant. These are all the jobs. These are 27 jobs. I know the gal, what's Tracy that was in here yesterday, right? Did anybody see her? She had a great list of virtual assistants this is the virtual assistants that I do. Call tenants back, web design, dude made my PowerPoint presentation, graphic design, transcriptions. That's how I write books. I just talk like ghetto and they edit it for me. And then I schedule SEO and my systems. I got this girl, Michelle, from, where's that girl from? She's not from the Philippines, Ukraine. Man, I love that girl. I'll never see her. But she creates all of my systems when I get them all done. And I email it to her, all these crazy notes and all this voice, and she makes an awesome, 30-page book of my whole process and procedures. And if I told you what I paid, you wouldn't believe it. All right. So this is how you do it. You got to get started. That's your first thing. Remember, out of your comfort zone, tonight you should get on Fiverr and do one job. You got to brainstorm. What task can you do? You need to make a logo because you got to get a logo for your company already. So for $5, go make a new logo. You should outsource everything that you hate to do. I don't cut grass. I don't clean toilets, right? Start small. You got to look at it like this. You got a lawn care guy. I live on an acre of land. Dude rolls up to my house with a big trailer with the burn thing, and he charges me $50. He's got smoke everywhere, gasoline. I mean, just the emissions alone. And it's $50. Guess how long it takes him to cut my grass? 30 minutes? You on drugs? Huh? It's like 3 hours, 2 hours. It's 2 hours. He's got an hour in the front, hour in the back of my crib. $25 an hour. Now, he had to go to the gas station. He's got insurance, I hope. He's got to shave the blade, right? He's riding around with chemicals. I mean, listen, what do you hate to do? Increase your business. Every time I outsource something, I know I'm going to the next level. Every time I push myself and then I don't have to worry about Microsoft no more, trying to jam me up for more money. Then I don't have to worry about, this laptop can be stolen. One time my laptop got stolen, changed my life. Now I've protected myself completely. You can steal my laptop and my life will not change tomorrow. The hardest thing I got to do is got to get to a machine and change my password. Okay? It just makes your life easier. The more you push yourself, the better. All right, here's your process. This is how you hire a VA. 10 steps. Okay? Find one. Now, I have a whole big daddy course on virtual assistants. And this guy he went to my course, it changed his life forever. He outsources everything. I even outsource, now don't be mad at me, but I outsourced a love letter to my wife just for fun. I just did it just for fun. I wanted to prove that you could do it. And so I went on Fiverr in class. They wrote a poem and I sent it to my wife and she had no idea. She thought I was OG. I was like, yeah, you know. I mean, I have hired on Fiverr. My mom's was her birthday and she loves Scrabble. And I had them make happy birthday in Scrabble. Like it was like floating in the air, like a Scrabble game. My mom thought I was like the most amazing person. I never told her it was only $5. But it makes you better. So you've got to do it. Here's the 10 steps. You got to find a VA. You're protected. You don't have to pay for it up front. This is the one thing I think that people abuse virtual assistants is like they will deliver product to you and you don't pay them. You're shady, okay? But I will say, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to make me a new radio bumper, blank. I want OG, I want it to be hip hop. And he said to me, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And then you don't even have to pay. They just deliver. They're just ready to serve. I wish the United States of America was ready to serve. Then you could create milestones, details, and instructions. Then you got to process. You clarify with tools. You can do joinme.com, join.me. Everybody heard of that website? It's free. Join.me. You can share. You can Skype with them. And I always create dialogue back and forth. I see you closing your eyes, homie. We got 15 minutes. I'm out. Don't come up on the front and fall asleep. You with me? You need a soda? If this was a nightclub, I'll throw water on you. I used to be a DJ. I can get away with it because I won't play your song. All right. So, and then you finalize it, and then you fund it, and then you rate them, and then you learn what they can do. So that's the simple process. Do you think you can do that? Yeah, you can. All right. Go to Fiverr.com. Fiverr.com. Tonight, for fun, get your significant other and get them something special made. Like one time, I had an art thing that my wife works in the medical field, passion, whatever. They had made some cool design, I emailed it to my wife. She just thinks I'm some artist. Nope, I just have $5. She thinks I'm romantic. Nope, I'm on Fiverr. Now, if you want to go to the next level, you want to go to Upwork. Everybody's mentioned Upwork. Anybody on Upwork? Okay. Would you like to know every single virtual assistant website that's out there? Yeah. Okay, I'll give it to you right now. All right, here's your 5 mistakes. Not preparing. You're focused on, you're dumb and cheap, okay? Don't be dumb and cheap and test stuff. Like, when I get on Fiverr, I know I'm gonna drop $20. I can hire 4 different graphic artists to find a logo. Now, you get what you pay for, okay? But on Upwork, I budget enough money that I usually try to hire 2 people at the same time. Sometimes I hire 3 people, and whoever's the best. Sometimes it's hard to have all 3 people. The videos that I get done for $5, if we have time, I'll show you some of those videos. And first of all, who's the number 1 search engine? Google. Who's the number 2? YouTube. Millennials don't read. They don't do anything. They just watch videos. Just hang out with a millennial for a minute. I guarantee they're watching a video. In the bathroom, they're watching videos. They don't read. I found that out and I wrote a book. Dumb. Don't write books either. I was telling someone the other day, I'm like, Brad, don't write a book. And stop micromanaging people. Just let them do their thing. And they suck. That's okay. Just move on. It didn't cost you that much. Here's some websites. There you go. Take your pictures. My Landlord Helper. I know that gal. If you're really antiquated, no offense. If you're old school, no offense. If you don't know how to pick up a phone, no offense. Go to mylandlordhelper.com. Okay? She knows everything. She's in the United States, she's in Chicago. It's like $200 a month, and she'll take all your calls, and she'll route everything for you. She's an American. Being a virtual assistant, you don't have to be out of the United States of America. Okay? So some quick case studies. So I actually was a designer. I've been a hustler my whole life. Whatever makes money, because I was broke. But I designed this. And I did a Mr. Landlord came and spoke in Oklahoma City. We videotaped it, and I made this deal, this flyer. And I thought I was cool, pseudo, it works. Then for $5, I got that done. You see the difference? So just do a task like this. Take your business card and get a new business card. Create it. Okay. This is what $5 does. Okay, and I have these up here. They'll be in the back. Here's another one. I do this thing in September. I do a bus tour. I have a bunch of my homies come on the bus, and we just go look at ghetto cribs all day. It's fun. I tell them, don't buy that one, buy that one. You're dumb, because I'll buy it. Okay? The only 35 people is fun. It's ghetto. I get on the microphone the whole time. People hate me. And this is what you learn. And then for $5, look at that. Isn't that crazy? Now, remember, I took Adobe Photoshop. I went to school. Like, I know what Control-C does. Does anybody know what Control-Z does? What does Control-Z do? Back it up. You go back, right? So, can you do this at your deal? Okay, $5. You should do it. Can you? Is everybody going to go do one? I'm going to be here all the way. I leave at Sunday at 5 o'clock. Could you just come up to me and say, hey, man, thanks for helping me. I got a poem written. You might actually get lucky in society. I'm not talking about your bedroom. All right. So I pushed the limits again, and I created this video. Everything here is outsourced. So we're going to watch this video.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.